is going on, everyone? Soss here with yet another, we'll call this a video. So I may be being baited into checking out something that might not be the greatest, but I have actually been wanting to do some content over I Prevail. Now, for those of you who do not know or have been living under a rock, so Brian, the former clean vocalist for I Prevail, actually parted ways with the band. And whenever he did, there was a lot of speculation and uproar that happened because of it. I didn't ever actually get a chance to see I Prevail live whenever they did have Brian, but I've always been really into the band because they have such a unique style. And what I mean by that is that they blend some metalcore with some new metal, with just some rock and everything. It's very interesting, and I love the way that they do it. Now, I'm not going to be doing a reaction until I Prevail puts out another new song, because I am up to date with everything up to Rain. I've actually been listening to Rain on repeat, and I will give my thoughts on that as at the end of this video on the direction that they are heading. But I wanted to take a look at this it's a little 6-minute video, and it's titled "The Real Reason Brian Left I Prevail Will Break Your Heart." So with all that being said, if you guys enjoy this content, please make sure you drop a like, comment down below, subscribe, hit that bell for post notifications, so you know anytime I post a video. I do reactions, I do all types of stuff, so this is kind of out of left field for me, but at the same time, I saw it whenever I was browsing YouTube. Thought it would be a cool video to do, so let's check it out, shall we? All right, the real reason Brian left I Prevail will break your heart. Let's check this out.
What if one of metalcore's most recognizable voices just disappeared without explanation?
Yep.
No farewell tour, no dramatic exit, just silence. That's exactly what happened with Brian Burkheiser, former clean vocalist of I Prevail. Until now, after months of mystery, cryptic posts, and fan speculation, Brian has finally broken his silence.
Okay.
But instead of throwing blame or
I have
starting
seen
beef,
some
he
stuff.
shared...
I have seen some stuff on social media, on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, of him kind of talking about what's been going on, but we'll take a listen to this.
Stunned everyone. Because behind the music, behind the break, was a painful story most fans never knew, one filled with rare illness, emotional turmoil, and a message the entire music scene needed to hear. This isn't just about a band breakup, it's about what happens when life offstage becomes too heavy to carry, and how one artist is fighting to take his power back. Let's rewind. In May of this year, I Prevail released a sudden statement that rocked the metalcore scene. After 10 years of being a co-vocalist, Brian Burkheiser was out. The post read like a mutual decision: amicable, clean, professional, no accusations, no scandal. It was almost too neat. Fans respected the tone, but something didn't sit right. Why now? Why no comments from Brian? For weeks, the silence was deafening. But fans who had been following Brian closely already knew something was going on. Over the years, he had opened up about battling a rare and brutal condition called Eagle syndrome, a disorder most people have never even heard of. Despite its intense name, Eagle syndrome is no joke. It causes nerve pain across the jaw, throat, face, and neck, often resulting in severe headaches, swallowing issues, and searing pain with every movement. It doesn't stop at the physical. The condition is known to trigger waves of mental strain and depression. Brian himself described it as something that broke him. At his lowest points, he admitted to feeling like a burden to the people around him. And if that wasn't enough, he even had to undergo surgery in the middle of tours, leading to show cancellations and extended absences. This wasn't just an injury, this was life-altering. So when I Prevail's statement mentioned a mutual parting, fans began putting the pieces together. Maybe this wasn't about drama, maybe Brian had simply reached his limit. But while Brian remained quiet, the band didn't stop. Just days after the announcement, I Prevail dropped a surprise single called Violent Nature. It was raw, relentless, and screamed from start to finish. No clean vocals, it was a sonic uppercut, and it left fans split. Was this the new direction? Was the band done with their signature clean-unclean vocal dynamic? Some fans were hyped, others were worried. The dual vocal style had defined I Prevail's sound for a decade. Had Brian's departure pushed them into a new era entirely? Then came their second single, Into Hell. This time things changed. A clean melodic chorus punched through the chaos, and fans immediately began speculating who was singing. Was it guitarist Dylan, who had stepped in before? Or had Eric, the band's unclean vocalist, stepped up in a new way?
Unclean
Turns out
vocalist.
It was Eric.
I always
Not
call
only
it
that,
harsh
he
vocals.
confirmed that the band had intentionally dropped Violent Nature first as a misdirect, a curveball, a deliberate shock to the system. Eric even admitted that every album cycle they try to flip expectations, either by going heavy early or releasing the song they think is the banger. Smart, calculated, But the elephant in the room remained. What about Brian? For weeks he said nothing, but then everything came out at once. Over the course of just 48 hours, Brian flooded his Instagram with over 50 stories, old photos, behind-the-scenes clips, reflections, raw text posts. It was a waterfall of emotion, equal parts healing and heartache. One of his first messages was crystal clear. I will change the music industry forever. There are no rules to this shit. You can be whatever you want to be, but if you don't live your truth, don't go blaming anyone else. Then he said the words fans had been waiting for. I had to do this for my family. I couldn't take this anymore. I am meant to be here. And just like that, Brian's side of the story began pouring out, not in a dramatic expose, but in a string of honest, emotional reflections. He made it clear. There's no beef between him and I Prevail.
Well, that's good.
We were all kids. None of us knew what we were doing. It all happened so fast, he wrote. But he also admitted, yeah, shit got tough along the way, and I don't think I deserved how things went down, but that doesn't mean they're bad people. We're all just trying to feed our families. He even gave a personal shout-out to Eric, writing, I am proud of you. You went through a lot the world doesn't know about. I want to see you. I miss you. And in a move that shut down any lingering tension, Brian posted, don't show up to I Prevail. Shows to talk shit. Give them love. They worked their asses off.
That's really cool.
Peacekeeping, Brian didn't
That's really cool.
sugarcoat it. I'll be honest, I had a falling out with the dudes. A lot of things happened over 10 years. And I'm sure they have different perspectives, but that happens. Divorces happen usually from lack of communication. I think we all could have improved on that.
Yeah, so speaking on that real quick, I see both sides to it. I think the biggest prevailing thought, for lack of a better word, is just the fact that, like, so I had heard that his medical condition was not getting better. And I think it's a terminal thing. I don't think that I think they can help lower the symptoms and ease the pain a little bit every once in a while, but it's always going to be there. And I had seen and heard from a lot of people that he wasn't always available for touring, and that his, mostly like he wasn't always available for touring. And whenever you have all the other guys that are wanting to do that, to tour and get the music out there and stuff like that, if you have one person that's just not able to do it or doesn't want to do it, it puts a really big strain on even the strongest of relationships, to be honest.
These weren't just passive-aggressive digs. This was a man reckoning with the past, owning what he could and letting go of what he couldn't. Fans were torn. Some worried the flood of posts was a cry for help. Others thought it might be a manic spiral. But Brian addressed those concerns head on. He said, this wasn't a breakdown. It was catharsis. It made him feel inspired. And with that clarity came his next move. Brian announced a new project, Scatterbrain, a collaboration with Tyler Smith, a fresh start, a new sound, and finally a path forward. And yeah, some fans joked it should have been called Scatterbrian. Missed opportunity? Maybe,
yeah,
but either way, the
Scatterbrian.
message was clear. He's not done. The takeaway from all this isn't just about one vocalist leaving a band. It's about how fragile relationships can be, even in the most successful circles. It's about 100%. What happens when communication breaks down.
100%.
And more than anything, it's about the mental and emotional weight artists carry when the spotlight fades. Brian's story isn't tragic. It's real, it's complicated, and it's ongoing. There's no villain here, no epic betrayal.
I love that.
Just human beings trying to navigate fame, pain, and purpose, all while the world watches from behind a screen. In the end, Brian said it best. Let's show the world relationships are hard, and the music industry is even harder. So, what comes next? I Prevail is still pushing forward. New music, new tours, same intensity. Brian is rebuilding from the ground up, with Scatterbrain already generating buzz. And for fans, this moment was a powerful reminder. Every artist we follow is still just a person. A person who hurts, a person who grows, a person who sometimes just needs to be heard, because sometimes the loudest message comes after the silence.
All right, so after watching that video and kind of listening along with it, now it's time to gather my thoughts and give you guys my thoughts on it. So with the new I Prevail, I will say one thing. I respect Brian quite a bit. I think that he is a pretty talented guy. However, his style never really resonated with me when it comes to I Prevail. So I have actually always been much more of a fan of Eric and his vocal style, just because I typically lean toward the harsh vocalist whenever it comes to bands that have dual vocalists. It's just what I gravitate to. But one thing that always kind of hit home for me was that while Brian was in the band, I wasn't always the biggest fan of their lyrical content. I thought that sometimes the lyrics were kind of lacking. I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know who the primary lyric writer was, but I never really resonated a super amount with it. It was just a little bit basic for me. There wasn't very much provoking of thoughts. It was just kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of mid, to be honest. And whenever I heard that he had stepped away, whenever I first heard Violent Nature, um, I was taken back because I was just like everybody else. I was like, wow, so are they just going to be violently heavy now? Which wouldn't bother me because I like heavy music. So if they go in a softer direction, that's fine. If they go into a heavier direction, that's fine too. And then they dropped Into Hell, and it showcased Eric's vocals so well. I did not know that dude had the chops that he does. The dude can sing and he can scream. And I'll be honest, as of right now, as of this recording, I am more excited for the future of I Prevail, and I'm excited for the album that they're going to be putting out. I think that it's going to resonate more with me because of my preference for having Eric over Brian. It sounds bad. I don't think that Brian is bad, but my preference is Eric over Brian. But I will be checking out Scatterbrain because I still like that style, and I still want to support him because I think he's a good dude. I think that they just had a falling out. You can definitely tell that on the business side of it, that things are going a little bit better for I Prevail. Do I necessarily think that they should have just parted ways with him and stuff? I mean, that's up to them. Would I have done it? I would have had to think long and hard about it because, I mean, they all came up together and everything. But at the end of the day, they made their decision. They've parted ways. It seems like everything is going to end up being kosher. It seems like Brian's going to be doing his thing, and he's moving in the direction that he wants to move. Looks like all the guys from I Prevail are moving in the direction they want to go. And so I'm just excited for both of the projects because in this divorce, we are having two potential projects that are going to be incredible, both in I Prevail and Scatterbrain. So I'm excited for both. I'm going to be checking out both. With all that being said, let me know where you guys stand on it. If you don't have an opinion on it, that's fine too. But let me know what your thoughts are on it and everything. I just wanted to come on here real quick and record this video. But with all that being said, make sure you drop a like, comment down below, subscribe, hit that bell for post notifications. With all that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.